Hello and welcome back to the next topic of this module. In this module, we are going to cover the conditional statements in Java. So first of all, what are conditional statements? The conditional statements are of various forms. The first basic form is the if-else conditional statement. And then we have the if-else-if ladder statements. And at last, we have the switch case statements. Now you must be thinking why I have mentioned the ternary operator here. If you remember from the previous topic, I told you I will cover the topic of ternary operator inside the conditional statements topic. So here we go. In this topic, we will cover this topic of ternary operator here itself. The reason behind this you will get to know shortly. And along with the switch statement, we are going to cover the break keyword as well. So first of all, let us check out the if-else conditional statement. Now, if you recall this slide that I showed you when we were discussing the variables and data types topic. So in this topic, I showed you this slide and we actually declared this statement boolean is secular equal to true inside our code as well. Just to know what is a boolean data type. So why don't we go ahead and use this statement in order to check out the concept of if-else conditional statement. So here inside the IntelliJ IDE, inside our application, let us remove all the code and let us explore the if-else conditional statements. Now let us declare the boolean variable of is secular equal to true. So this statement is meant for our country India, which is actually the secular state. Now in order to print out the statement our country India is a secular state, we have to use this boolean is secular variable. So for that purpose in Java, we have the if-else conditional block. So first, let us define if, give it a space as per the convention, and then use the bracket open and close. Now within the bracket, I have to write a condition. Now this condition needs to be of the type of boolean. That is, here either we can have true or either we can have false. Now suppose if I use here true directly, then this way also it is going to work. But instead of true, let us use some condition or a boolean variable of is secular. Let us use is secular, and after the bracket close, let us define our code. Now to define our code, you can simply use the curly bracket open and then close. And within the brackets, you have to write our code. So here what I will do, I will now define the print statement out and simply print the code such as India is a secular state. Let us now run the code. So in the output we have India is a secular state. As simple as that. So this statement simply means that if the condition is true, then only execute this statement. Now what if I make it false? Suppose India is not a secular state, then let's see what happens. So here we go, we got no output in the output console just because this is actually false. So whenever the condition is false, then the control will never enter into the bracket open and bracket close, which is actually known as the block. So inside the block, this statement won't be executed. Now let us revert it back to true. And here again, let us use is secular. Now, this statement is always executed if is secular is true. Now we also want to define a condition. If this condition false, then what should happen? So for that in Java, we have the else part as well. So simply define else, which is actually the keyword, give it a space here, and then again use the curly bracket open and close, and within the block, that is within the curly bracket, let us define our one more statement. Let us say India is not a secular state. And now let us run the code. So here we get still India is a secular state. Now let us try something different. Let us change it to false. And now let us run the code. So this time we have got India is not a secular state just because this condition fails. And then control enters into the else part. So else part will get the priority and this statement will be executed that will print the output that we have in front of you. And now at the end of this video, I would like to tell you something. Now, whenever we write any program, we need to make sure that our code is always optimized. So here, if you noticed that system.out.println statement is getting repeated here and also here as well. So why don't we try to rectify our code? Let us do one thing. Let us declare a string, let's say message. Now currently this string message is blank because we have not assigned it to any value. So here inside the if block, let us replace it by, let's say, message equal to this string value. So this text is basically the string, right? So here again down the side, let us use message equal to this statement, and at the bottom, after the if else conditional statements, let us use our print statement. S out, let us print out message. And here let us revert it back to true because India is a secular state. Let us now run the code. And there we go, it has printed India is a secular state. So always remember, always try to minimize your code repetition. So this was all about the if else conditional statements in Java.